Welcome to thestockminer.com. I'm Brian Johnson, and as was expected, coming off of this weekend, people are coming back to work and very slowly starting to dribble their way back into the markets. We saw a little bit of a gap down to start the day, but it didn't last long before the bulls bought it back up, and it really was very clearly defined here on the Dow. As you see a drop right back down into what was very nice resistance. It's now holding very nicely as support. This is textbook TA. And we saw that there really wasn't a big rush after that point. Bulls just kind of drug it back upwards. Now, once again, we're stuck in a neutral position. We're still waiting for breaks up above here, down below here to take any kind of a trade. So there really wasn't a whole lot to be done today. If you're an intraday trader, you could have, maybe tried to sneak a few points out of the markets. More power to you. I'm in a very neutral position at this point. I'm not real sold on the indices to the long side. I'm certainly more sold on them to the short side, just because we're so extended at this point. But I'm very patient too. I'll wait for the breaks before I make my moves. From an individual stock standpoint, now we have something maybe to go off of and something to trade here over the next few days. And you can see as we get forward, Apple and FAS and FAZ do give us some trading opportunities. I would rather be going long those stocks than I would try to long the indices themselves. But let's take a look at what we saw today. A little bit of a gap down, right back into support where we bounced and then kind of moved our way back up. Now we're in a very neutral position. Are we in a, this could be some sort of the end of a three wave up here. This could be A, B, and then a C to a downside. This could be any one of a number of different, Elliott wave counts. But for the most part, it's really just as simple as break above here, break below here in this case. We're in a little bit of a trading range as we were here. Look, we've moved up, wander sideways, up, wander sideways, up. We could wander sideways into the end of the year without breaking either one of these areas for the most part. So we could see the same thing. This is all we've seen. And all of these moves, as long as they stay sideways to up, are all still bullish. There's nothing broken here from a bull side. Still sitting around waiting for something major to happen. And that would be a break above here, break below here for your entries. And until then, I'd suggest you just sit around and wait. If you want to take it long, great. We're very extended. Just keep in mind, as I've said over and over and over again, you have to be very careful up here in this area. Even moves to the upside can be quickly met with a sharp downward selling pressure, and that's typically what you'll see after these things wander up for a while. When the selling starts, stops get hit, and things start to snowball on the markets themselves. So if you're going to play it long, by all means do, but make sure you are quick to take profits and don't be afraid to get out. If this thing turns around and starts to head back to the south, you don't want to be stuck calling the top or going long at the top, which is very common for a lot of amateur traders to make. You get short at the very bottom of a move, you get long at the very top of a move, and then you just get stubborn and you don't get out. Get out. There's no sense in blowing up your account over it. Just keep in mind we are getting ready for a pullback, and you're in a position here where that could happen any time. So just keep that in mind. Breaks below 11,450 on the bigger time frames are what we're watching. Shorter time frames, 11,500 maybe, but bigger time frames, let it get back below about this 11,450 mark or back above this area here before you start looking for trades on either side. NASDAQ doing the same thing here. NDX 100 saw a big run. This is very common. We saw this in Apple too this afternoon where the price had dropped and then it ran sharply to the upside. NDX following along with that, and you can see it's still stuck within its trading range. Not getting back below here, not getting back above here. These lines holding beautifully so far as we progress further into the end of the year and into the week. NASDAQ daily, same type of thing. This just looks right now like a bull pullback. Been there, done that, seen it 100 times. So until these levels get broken back down here below 2200 on the NDX. Once again, nothing major broken from the bull side. Everything looking good so far. Up above 2240. It's going to try to squeak out maybe some more upside motion before that pullback happens. NASDAQ Weekly, won't talk about it quite yet. You can see it just wandering around sideways for the time being, as we've seen the last few weeks. Very, very early in the week yet to be talking about that, so we won't. SPX 60 minutes, same type of a thing. Gap down, move up, as were the rest of the markets. Not getting above 1260 and not getting below 1250. So stuck between this 1250, 1260 area, which was definitely one of the areas I had been discussing for quite a while as overhead resistance. Wandering up, sideways, up, sideways, up. Could be sideways now for a while. anybody's guess. Let it break these levels before you start getting into any kind of a trade. SPX Daily doing the same thing, looking like a pullback at this point, waiting for breaks upwards or downwards, as it were, for your next move. SPX Weekly doing the same thing. A little bit early to be talking about that, so we won't. VIX Daily, big move up. Now, what have we seen? Same song, different verse. Big gap up and a drop. However, up for the day, up 7. This is huge. Up 7% in the VIX today, and the markets are basically flat. Flat to up, really. Dow was down, but SPX and NASDAQ were up. So, have we seen it before? Yes, we have. Up days, markets up, resulted in a net drop afterwards in the VIX. Up a couple of days, market was up, and a net drop in the VIX. Now, Thursday we saw an up day. Today we see an up day with up days basically in the markets. Are we going to see the drop again? Well, that's what history has shown us. So until that pattern is broken, that's what I have to expect going forward. Now, with this move up in the VIX and the fact that the panic has not come into the markets in the form of drops lower via price, now there's just room for the VIX to move back down again. So we could see another drop here in the VIX as the markets slowly grind their way upwards. Watching for this blue line. Let's see if this actually holds by the end of the week for the VIX chart here. Now we've seen it. Look, big gap up, drop all the way back down. Big runs to the upside, only to drop all the way back down by the end of the week. This was the 1 week here, which actually closed out of it, but as I said, then the following week it went right back into this pattern. So this pattern's been holding very well, and I have to continue to believe that it will until otherwise broken. This is a weekly chart, so we could see the big gap up and a run down all week long if the markets just don't sense any fear within the markets themselves. Apple 60-minute up a little bit, but you can see it holding 320. Never got below 320. Got as low as 321.50. There's that big run. Looks very much like the NDX chart for good reason. They just kind of seem to follow one another lately. Apple and the NDX chart do anyway. And you can see it coming back up into these overhead areas of this 325-ish area. 325, 325.50 is holding very well so far as overhead resistance, and he breaks back above that area, 325.50 to 326. Still going to give you good opportunities to trade Apple to the long side. As you can see, the daily looks like a pullback. Looks very nice up here. It's been holding very well sideways. As long as it does, there's nothing broken from the bull side. In the weekly, doing the same thing, holding up above this 320-ish area. So until 320 is broke, I really can't be anything but continuing to be neutral to more bullish on Apple. FAS 60-minute wants to come back up into this overhead blue line. Watch this blue line carefully on any pushes to the upside from an intraday standpoint. Otherwise, from a daily standpoint, looks good. Nice big bullish engulfing type of a candle today. Holding support 1, 2, 3 days in a row. That all looks very, very good. Looks like there could be some further push left in the banks as they kind of grind their way upwards. You guys could look at this as a potential, here's a cup with a little teeny tiny handle over here, so a cup and handle formation, and if that's true, we could see much more buying coming into the banks before this is all over with. FAZ 60-minute doing the same thing. I am not really interested in this to the long side until it gets back up above $10. I know that's a long ways away, but whatever. I'm a more conservative trader when it comes to these type of ETFs. Drops below 925 could mean we are in for further weakness within the FAZ, which is, of course, increased strength within the banks, as we saw based on the FAS chart. So, waiting for breaks back below this area, then I'd be looking at maybe $9 as your next level of support. However, for the time being, doing very well. This is a bearish engulfing pattern. Need some confirmation on that tomorrow. So I'd be looking for pushes back below, 930, 925, somewhere down in that area if you're going to look to go short this anymore. Otherwise, back up above this 10.50-ish area, $10 area. Those would be my entries for you to the long side. All right, that'll do it for today, and as always, we will see you again tomorrow. We should start to see some accelerated trading coming in now in the next couple days. I would expect to see at least a day or two of good, decent trading. Whether that's up or down, it's all the market's decision. We just wait. We wait for our breaks, and we take our entries when they come to us. But I would expect to see a little bit now that Monday's over with. People might get a little bit more motivated coming into the end of the year and into the end of the week. See you tomorrow. And safe trading. Bye.